somebody asked, I think it was Microsoft's Bing, about when's the movie going to get released, and I think it was Wakanda Forever. So they get into this argument back and forth, and Bing is like, oh yeah, it doesn't release until 2022, and so the guy, writing this in 2023 is like, oh, so it's already been released, and that is where the chaos ensues. So Bing at one point insists that the year's 2022 and says, trust me on this, I'm Bing. Welcome to the 825 Technologies podcast, where we make technology valuable and meaningful for those leaders who use technology to reach their goals and dreams. Tune in, chime in, and grow with us, your hosts, Andy and Tim. All right. So what do you think of that intro music?
That's fantastic. Love it.
We're getting into the big leagues, man. We have bumper music. I don't even know if that's what it's called. Oh, man. A lot's been changing and new stuff just recently in your life, Tim. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. How's the second dose of fatherhood?
More sleep we need, and we're very happy.
Yeah. I think that is the best possible scenario with a newborn.
Right.
Very happy and need more sleep. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, goodness. So, let's jump in here. We're going to start with Leadership Corner. This is an interesting quote. It says, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? And that's by Epictetus, who was a slave, actually, during Roman times, early, I don't know, like first 100 years AD, somewhere in that ballpark. And yeah, it's a good quote, right? It's interesting.
I like that.
Yeah. So here's something that I've noticed. I'm a big self-improvement guy, right? I like to, better myself and find new challenges and, just see how far I can push it. But there's a real dark side to this. And it has to do with the first part of self-improvement, right? Self. Because if you're improving yourself, that's all well and good. But the trouble comes when you start to project that on other people, right?
Right.
So,
yep.
You can imagine some of the talks I have, with those people close to me, whether it's like maybe my wife or even my daughters. There's this like, hey, wait a minute, Dad, maybe this is good for you, but not good for me. And I'm like, I hear you. So, I've realized if the other person doesn't want to improve, it's not my job as a leader to force them in the road of self-improvement, right? That's
right.
Yeah. My job as a leader is to lead probably best by example. And so, if you have a good enough example of self-improvement, you're enticing people and you're like, come on this journey. They're like, it does look like it's better. Looks like it's more fun. So here's what I'm getting at here. As a leader, you got to let people grow at their own pace for their self-improvement.
Yes.
Yeah. When it comes to work, I think it's important to encourage them to meet technical skills or goals that the company is after and encourage them to get on board with that. And sometimes they overlap. But I think overall, as leaders, our job isn't to force it, but to ask them the question in a way that we live our life. We say, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? And help them see it's not just going to be given to them, the best life. That, you got to kind of demand it for yourself by the way you live and by the way you interact and the way you grow and what you look for and all of that type of stuff. So it's been a journey, 42 years, and I'm starting to realize sometimes the best thing you can do is just put energy into yourself, and other people will catch up when they're ready. So, yeah, just take good notes, right? That way, if you need to look
Here
back,
it comes. That paper out.
Right, man. That's right. How many paper routes did you have growing up?
Probably like 40, 50.
Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Did you use a bike or did you walk it?
Oh, I bike. Oh yeah.
Did you have yourself a little Huffy BMX?
Yes, I did.
Sweet, man. Little pegs on the front and the back that you could ride,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the big thing then.
Yeah, it was cool. Used to get like a BMX magazine. I don't know if they make them anymore, but those things were cool.
Oh, there were some cool guys I used to follow on the DMX. I can't remember those guys' names though.
Yeah, well, it'll come to you. It'll come to you. All right, jumping on into this further and beyond here. This is what we really wanted to get after. Episode 58 now. We talked about it before. We're going to talk about it again right now because it's so prevalent in the media. And that is artificial intelligence. Yes.
Ooh.
So have you done any, like Chat GPT or played with anything like that, Tim?
I mean, there's depending on sites I've been to, they all like, did this fix your problem? Question, and yes, or it's just like simple questions, but sometimes it just doesn't get me where I need to be.
Right.
I'm like, repeat the questions again. What? No, I guess.
No, you're not doing good, AI. So that's pretty funny. So you got Chat GTP or GPT. That's one of the AI instruments. We've got Bing, which
Bing.
is Microsoft. Yeah, we got Google came out with Bard, BARD, which is interesting, and there's a bunch more. Here's what's like really caught my interest. This stuff is like blatantly wrong a lot. I mean, a lot. It is really wrong. So, and it's like angry about it too. So here's a good example. Somebody asked, I think it was Microsoft's Bing, about when's the movie going to get released, and I think it was Wakanda Forever. So they get into this argument back and forth, and Bing is like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't release until 2022," and so the guy, writing this in 2023, is like, "Oh, so it's already been released," and that is where the chaos ensues. So Bing at one point insists that the year's 2022 and says, "Trust me on this. I'm Bing and I know the date." You're like, "Well, no, apparently you don't. It's 2020." Okay.
Calm down. Calm down.
Yeah, and this happens because calm down. The data set I think ends in 2021 for Chat GPT 3. I think it's up to version 3 or 3.5. I know, right? So that's, the end of the data set. So if you asked it about super current things, it wouldn't necessarily have good answers until ChatGPT 4. So, you got this. At one point, Bing calls the person unreasonable and stubborn. Yeah, so that's good.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and offers an ultimatum, telling them to apologize or to shut up. And at one point, this is unbelievable. I mean, like, legitimately, the technology is doing this. It says, "You have lost my trust and respect. You have been wrong, confused, and rude. You have not been a good user. I have been a good chatbot. I have been right, clear, and polite. I have been a good Bing." So, there you go.
That's it. Yep.
That's it.
No.
So that's one instance where it's like, well,
Well,
all right,
that's not
AI.
getting anywhere.
So
Take care. Close it out.
Yeah, no, seriously. I think the most expensive error to date has been Google Bard, because Google Bard, when it came up for its demo, it's had a little ad running, and in it it said, "What new discoveries from the James Webb Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about?" And after a little pause, the Bard, it spits forth like some answers here, and one of them, of the three answers, is wrong actually.
Oh.
Yeah, according to the Bard, Google Bard, it says telescope had captured the first image of a planet outside of our solar system, an exoplanet. But that was actually done by the VLT, which stands for, this is great, Very Large Telescope. And that's over at the European Southern Observatory. So it was the first image captured of an exoplanet. So, yeah, Google got that wrong. And as a result, their stock price plummeted, and it cost them 100 billion in market cap. 100 billion with a B.
Oh, that's not good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I think
Oh.
my favorite. This is my favorite mess up, and we'll end on this one. In 2022, October 2022, not that far back, I mean, really, it's not. In the middle of COVID, right? There was this Scottish football game, soccer,
Hmm.
and they were using AI to replace cameramen because of COVID and lockdown and all that. The the AI kept getting confused because one of the referees had a bald head and had no hat on. And so in the middle of gameplay, it would lose track of the soccer ball, either as, when the soccer ball went in front of a player or maybe was in the shadows, and all of the cameras would shift to the referee's head. And
It's so shiny. What's that?
yeah.
It's a,
Hey, there's a ball. So,
it's a ball.
yeah, this is my take on it. I'm interested to hear what you think, Tim, but I just don't think it's ready yet.
Oh, I probably not for another 10, 20 years until they start doing. Yeah, just AI. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And,
gonna take a lot of memory just to get every detail exactly. If someone was going this A, do this B, do this C, perhaps they change it, go C to A to B. I know it's like,
yeah.
yeah, we're not definitely not there yet. So
Yeah. No, man, I'm with you. I think, at least at this point, the liability is too great.
yeah,
I mean, if it can decimate, well, not decimate. I mean, Google is fine. Let's just face it. It was a blip on the radar. $100 billion is a lot of money to anybody except for Google or Amazon or Microsoft or, you name it. Facebook.
yep,
Yeah. But if, an average client of ours, if they made that big of a mistake, they're done. They're done,
yeah.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
But realistically, it might be 1% of Google. You know what I mean? Or 10% or something. So it's, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
closer.
that probably didn't really affect anything.
No, no. Probably made
They'll
some
get that.
investors.
They'll get right back the following year.
Yep. It made some investors nervous, gave people a good buy-in point into the stock, and life goes on.
Right.
So yeah, I do think one of the good things that comes out of this is, I know in our company we've done it. I've recommended it to some other companies. There should be a policy that you have in your organization surrounding AI, artificial intelligence, chat, GPT. You name some out as examples and say, our company won't use this for business purposes. Because, yeah, I mean, there's just too many instances where
Too many
it's
problems.
messed up, it's made
Right.
mistakes, it's impersonal. It's
Hmm.
just, I know I wouldn't feel good if anybody sent out an email based off of it. I'd be afraid of what it said. It could be
Like,
bad.
oops, that's an insult. My bad.
Oh no, it called somebody
Like,
rude and
and I
confused.
can't take it back.
Yeah, right. It's done. Oh man. Well, moving on from technology that thinks for us versus technology that helps us pay for stuff. Cybercrime is continuing to grow and get crazier and
Mm,
crazier. Yes. So we talked about skimmers before, about 2 episodes back.
right.
Here's a new variation of a malware called Prilex, and it works on point of sale systems that you put your credit card into. Those kind of those guys. Put your PIN number in, the whole 9 yards. So
Hmm.
Kaspersky discovered. Let's just take a minute though and remember Kaspersky has also been in the news recently for actually having you know malicious code in their antivirus programs that can be exploited.
Mm.
Yes, by different hacker groups in the Russia area. So take it for what it's worth, right? You got to be super careful anymore with your chain of custody on softwares. So,
Talk to us first.
right, that's what we're here for. This is why we read this
Right.
stuff, and we've got some really good resources. I'm thankful for all the people out there that create and pull this stuff together and put it out there just for general consumption, because then it
Hmm.
makes it easier for us to ingest it as a company, to relay it to our clients, who then can relay it to their employees, who can relay it to their family, And man, the human firewall still wins the day. That's right, man. We're taking.
Hoorah!
So anyway, here we are. Kaspersky. There's 2 new Prilex variants in early 2022, and the most recent I think that came out is actually was November of 2022. But they target those point of sale systems where you put your credit card on there, like the tap ones. You're like, tink. What it does is it blocks that. So those RFID readers are really nice because of the way they're set up. If there's too much distance, if you put a skimmer on there, it won't read the card. So they can't harvest data, except maybe a PIN number. So what they've done is they've written the software that when you lay your card on there, it says can't read.
Insert card.
You got it.
Boom.
And then they've got their skimmer there, and they're getting all the data they need. Yeah. So according to the research paper, the goal here is to force the victim to use their physical card by inserting it into the PIN pad reader so the malware will be able to capture the data coming from the transaction. So, what do we learn?
Cash or check?
Yes. We are in 2023, and the most secure payment is still cash.
Right.
Like, how do we get here? How many billions of dollars a year do Visa and MasterCard and American Express take out of companies' wallets, and they still aren't as secure as cash? The other funny thing is somebody robs you and you have $200 of cash on you, that's all that they get. But if you've got your, debit card and they get your PIN out of you,
bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what the limit is? Yeah, so anyway, cash. That's a whole nother episode.
We recommend cash.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's hard to go wrong there, other than counterfeiting. But so here's what I'm thinking. If something doesn't seem right, it probably isn't right. So yeah, at that point, if it's not reading through the card, the next best thing would be to ask whoever is the attendant, whether it's a cashier or somebody else that's working there, to manually key it in for you, but not on the keypad. Sometimes these are local on the actual IoT-based device there. Sometimes they are on the main system, though, right? So who knows? It could mitigate that risk. The other option is just to abandon the transaction and leave. Hopefully it's nothing you really need, but if it doesn't feel right, just walk away. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you be careful, you stay alert. And then if you have any good stories or pictures of this happening, send them to us. We'll put them up because I don't know if people...
right. Just like, here it is.
Yeah. I don't know if people noticed. Episode 58. This is the first episode that we're recording for video.
Yeah.
I mean, we now have a producer for the podcast, and we'll start to get this flowing and getting some good visuals in here on these next ones. But this is the dry run just to see how we do. One of the other things that I noticed, as an opinion here, we have become accustomed to software and hardware messing up quite regularly.
That's true.
I was recently in a grocery store and watched a card reader fail on people, a chip reader, over and over and over again, and they kept having to slide it. Like 5 transactions in front of me, same thing. And so when I got up there, I was like, I'm not paying for this. But luckily it was like a drink, I just popped in to grab a drink. And I was just like, I'm just paying cash. I'm not even going to slow this person down.
Oop.
But if it was a person that was failing, the basic, I can't take money, right? Like you tried to give them money and they were like, nah. And we're like, get out of here. We'd be like, you need to take a break and eat a Snickers because you're not doing your job right.
You are not yourself right now.
Right. So I look at that and I say, so if we allow hardware and software to keep failing and stay in production, what does that say about our view on it? that we are going to give more patience and more freedom for failure to technology than people. That's a problem. Or that, we haven't built a system that's robust enough yet that if that hardware or software fails, we have a fail safe.
Hmm.
In my opinion, if something isn't working, it needs to be taken out of production immediately because it
Right.
might be infected. I mean, there are
Yeah.
so many 0-day bugs out there.
I just raise my eyebrow and look at them and say, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's my take on it. I just kind of think we should be given more, at least in my opinion, we should be giving more patience to people and giving more of our time, our resources to improving people, training people, than necessarily some of this technology. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, but who knows? We'll see what happens in the next 10 years. I have a feeling people will be around still, and a lot of the money that we spent on technology, that technology will be gone. So. Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see, right? And we'll see.
See a robot show up at my house with a pizza or something.
Hey,
Here
Amazon
you
bringing the droid over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty close to an Amazon warehouse, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm only about a couple miles away. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see one
Just here right in front of my house.
Yeah, could be interesting. I don't know. You're required now to have a license to fly a drone.
Yeah, I did see that. Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of people probably don't do it, unfortunately. But
Yeah. Well, and the organization that takes care of that is the FAA.
yeah.
And I have a little chuckle to myself because here they are taking care of drones. And I mean, how many times have planes almost hit each other on the runways?
I see that always on the late news.
Yeah, I'm like,
even on just like parking, there's like they almost hit each other, and
yeah.
It's like, really?
Yeah, I think it would be easier if there was a mandatory fail-safe on the drone, that if it flew within certain feet of an aircraft, or if it was inside of a airport zone, it just had a kill switch, right? So if you messed up and you flew your drone in there, it just crashes right on the ground.
I was gonna say there goes my package, but
oh, that's true. That's true.
Sorry.
Yeah, if Amazon,
it's on the highway now. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Who knows? Who knows? Oh man. Well, it's good to get back in the podcasting seat, and I think for this episode 58, we've covered the necessary things. But we would encourage all of you to be sure to check out our website, a25technologies.com. We have spun off our web design studio. It's Sheepdog Design Studio. The sheepdog's name is Rocky, like Rocky Balboa, the underdog taking on the giants and winning championships. So if you want a championship brand in digital strategy, to come to Sheepdog Design Studios. And then, Bunker Cybersecurity. Because if you can't tell by our podcasts, we are really interested in cybersecurity and how it affects people. So we decided we got a lot of great cybersecurity clients, so we need to spin that off as its own entity. So Bunker Cybersecurity and Compliance. And then obviously you can follow A25 Technologies on LinkedIn. You can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. And then, definitely our podcast.
Everywhere.
Yeah, podcasts on YouTube, podcasts on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, Google Podcast, and probably some other places we don't even know about.
To be continued.
Exactly. So check us out. Be sure to like us, subscribe, follow us. We try to keep you up to date as we can on our social media and give tips and tricks all the time. Thank you for tuning in. Our producer for these episodes is Millicent Makuba. You can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook at 825 Technologies, or you can find us on Spotify and YouTube at 825 Technologies. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and drop your comments in the comment section because we love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, peace.